Hello and welcome to SaaS Marketing Insights, the show where we ask SaaS founders, CEOs, marketers and investors about the lessons they've learned in their quest to grow their companies. My name is Paul Stevenson and I'm founder and CEO of SaaS marketing agency 47 Insights. On today's show I have an interview with Jason Morehouse, co-founder and CEO of Checkfront. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, I'm with Jason Morehouse from Checkfront, and today this is the first part of a two-part conversation with both Jason, who's a co-founder and CEO, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
And Angela, who is your marketing manager, is that correct?
Yeah,
and Angela's on holiday at the moment, so
she is.
We're going to film her a bit later and then stitch it together.
Do the magic.
So, if anybody doesn't know anything about Checkfront, what's your kind of elevator pitch? What do you tell them?
Well, they should know. So we're an online booking system for tours, activities is kind of where we spend most of our time. So the whale watching in the inner harbor, bungee jumping, city tours, that's really how we started, was those small local tours. So we really effectively run their business in the background. So we process all their bookings, their payments, analytics, integrate into all of their marketing software, accounting software. So we're really the back-end system for those tour activity kind of experience-based businesses.
And when you say for them, you mean, these businesses are global, worldwide?
Yeah, so we're in 120 odd countries effectively.
Wow.
Primarily the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK. This is the biggest markets for us, but we've got them in Dubai and Portugal, Italy, Iceland.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So take me back to how you guys got started, how Checkfront got started. What was the germ of it? Where did it come from?
Yeah. So I've got most of my experience is in e-commerce, effectively. Before that, my co-founder kind of had a enterprise sales background, and we wanted to do something, but we really found the need from the consumer side. So we had small families, each of us, and we were frustrated when we would go to book whatever it was, a ski trip or some small activity, and we were constantly filling out email forms or literally having to mail checks. So we knew that there was a need, especially on the small business side, because there was large enterprise software at that point. It was lots of on-premise, lots of old, clunky software. So we built out a small prototype. We found one customer that we knew and built out a little prototype for him. We were still working day jobs, and there was some interest and traction there. We kind of left it on. We left it for free, and we might have had a lead a week.
So how long did that go on, that gestation period? That was
far too long. So it was probably a year. And again, it was moonlit.
Yeah.
And then the product was poor. It was not great. There was no support. The support box was my inbox. There's no documentation. But people would come in, they would use it. And then really the accelerator was when we started to build some integrations into it.
So when did you, just for sake of clarity, when did you guys get started? What sort of period was it?
So 2010.
Yeah.
It was still moonlit. Really, 2011, 2012 was when we started charging for it, so we could make some money off of it. And added a staff member or two. It was a lot of education early on.
So you just scratched your own itch, created this thing, just to see if it would fly, and it just slowly gathered momentum.
That's right.
On its own accord, or how did you do any marketing to start off with?
No marketing per se. I guess you could consider it growth hacking, if that's kind of a gooey term. But there was no budget, there was no money because nobody was paying us. So it was a lot of early link building those integrations, which ended up really accelerating the company. The WordPress one was a big one, so that was one we deployed. It was 30 lines of code, and then went to bed and woke up in the morning. My inbox was full of really angry customers who didn't know how to use the
Who
product.
installed the plugin.
But there was a market there, right?
Yeah.
So it validated. At that point, we did kind of rethink it and say, all right, there's something here. Obviously, we have to make it better and fix it and probably bring some people to support it and build it out. And then really took that approach for another couple of years. Just refine both on kind of our go-to-market or our marketing and really the product. So
at what point did you guys leave your day jobs? At what point did you go all in? It's like, this is serious now.
Yeah, so it was a bit of progression. So at that point I was contracting, so I kept cutting back the contracts so that I could cover the mortgage. And then at one point, it was still a big stretch for probably about a year to get to a point where there was enough revenue to cover the basic essentials. So 2012 is really the year, I think, where we started to see a business, and unlike probably what you might see today with a great company vision and this lofty business plan, this was a very organic process where we knew there was opportunity. Didn't end up where we initially were kind of thinking about it. It was much bigger, basically.
Yeah.
But through those 3 or 4 years, we started to see that there was an emerging market, right? So there was an early business case for it, but it just wasn't ready. So it was literally waiting for a couple of years.
Wow. So you were slightly ahead of the game, you think?
It was probably a couple of years ahead because there was a lot of education still around cloud, right? So small businesses were still installing their software, using Microsoft Office and their CD-ROMs and whatnot, which really kind of ages the company a bit, but and myself. But that changed over time, as we know. And SaaS is not a novelty anymore.
So tell me a bit more about those, just because I'm intrigued, those early growth hacking tactics that you employed. This was before growth hacking was even a term, wasn't it?
We invented it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was... We struggled to kind of find our identity in the early days. We were effectively kind of a booking system for everything. Our use cases were fairly close to where we are now, but in the early days, our marketing was very just, hey, if you have a service that you need to sell, we're an option for you. Which even today, it's an eclectic group of customers. There's still a wide range of verticals that use us, the ones that we don't necessarily focus on from a marketing lens. But so it took that year of customers coming in and putting pricing on it and increasing the pricing and figuring out who were the ones that would actually pay and stick around. So starting at $9, going from that actually helped us build the business.
Yeah, help separate the wheat from the chaff, the serious people from the...
We didn't want to build a passive product, right? So the ones that were angry to pay $9 a month, bless their hearts, there's lots of services for them, but we figured out we couldn't build a sustainable business on $9 a month for people using it for, a dog walking service or something.
Because that's the interesting thing about, what you said about WordPress. People still think of WordPress as being this free-for-all where people don't want to install or use a plugin unless it's free. They don't want to use a service unless it's free. And you actually broke that mold. You actually created something that was a paid-for SaaS service that had a WordPress plugin as a way of going viral, if you like, or a way of getting the message out there. But then you found a segment within that would actually pay. And, even to this day, when you look at, the typical WordPress user, the impression people get is, these guys won't pay for anything.
Yeah, I mean, and again, our early target was the SMBs. But the fact that the value add, which is we are going to run your business for you, right? Convincing them to pay $100 a month or $200 a month versus maybe some of the free stuff you'll get is not overly difficult. You can get a booking system in WordPress that costs you nothing, right? But they tap out really quickly.
And you welcome people to use that and try it.
Yeah, because it is. If it works for you, you probably don't need us.
Yeah.
So there was it was a real progression there and a learning experience for us to understand all of the components of the business. I mean, the product, we've been very product focused throughout, and have been lucky enough to have a lot of solid organic growth that we've been able to generate, whether it's a partner channel or an early referral program. We always had great organic traffic through the search engines, and there was not a lot of competition, whereas now there's
a ton.
Yeah, and after we built our WordPress integration, we were the only booking system in there paid. There was 15 probably by the end of the year.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That must have been frustrating for you to keep up with that. Yeah. But it's like anything. People see a market opportunity and jump in, and some people hang around, some people are in and out.
Yeah.
The WordPress plugin directory is just full of corpses, isn't there? There's a lot of dead plugins in there.
There is, yeah.
People who've tried different things. So it started off as two of you, rumbling along for a couple of years, and then so who was your first hire, and what role was your first hire?
Support.
Yeah.
So we, going way back, I worked in a technical support team, answering like Windows 95.
You poor soul.
I know. But I've seen how much support really changes the product. So we didn't have all the answers as to what we were building effectively, and we needed that early feedback from our customers, prospects, whatever, angry people that didn't like the platform as to why and what. Because in our space, it's complicated because unlike a shopping cart like Shopify, you're selling T-shirts, you're selling coffee mugs, they're kind of the same. Whereas we'll have a rafting operator that runs his business one way and the next one is completely different. So we had to figure out and get the input, segment out the customers we didn't want to build for, and then really, so our customers...
Build in a lot of flexibility as well.
We did, yeah. I mean, it bites us sometimes, but so the support team was 4 or 5 people before we ever added a second developer.
Wow.
So we wanted all of that feedback, good and bad.
So at what point did you get to the stage where you thought, we need to hire a marketer, or we need some full-time marketing help?
Early on, but again, we
brushed it off and carried on.
We did. It was best effort for probably far too long. I think we got complacent with the generous organic traffic that we were getting, right? And it was enough to continue to build the product out.
Sure.
It was probably a year or two earlier. We should have really put some more effort into it. So we actually brought on a marketing manager, I'm going to mess up the dates. It was 2015, I think. And her experience was really in kind of funnel management, analyst, all of that. So that worked out well. She ended up actually moving into product. So she's our director of product now. And Angela came in and picked up from there, and also was, we were just like, here, I don't know.
Thank goodness, someone.
Yeah, I remember she was rather stressed out for those first few months, but there was a lot. And again, we knew there was opportunity there, and we really wanted somebody to kind of own it and take that momentum and continue to build on it. The big thing for us was brand awareness. That was early on, because we were seeing fractionally smaller competitors highlighted in press and industry news as these emerging companies, where we were in some cases 100 times bigger than them, but we were never mentioned because again we were reliant on a very organic model, which is fine. It really got us to where we were. But when Angela came in, it was really about defining the brand, the usual kind of things like paid marketing and optimizing all of the leads that were coming in, marketing automation, all those things didn't exist. And we didn't have any marketing software. It was Google Analytics and like MailChimp or something, which we sent out like one newsletter every 24 months. It was good.
There's some companies still doing that.
Yeah. And then Angela basically built up the team along with Mark, who heads up the kind of go-to-market, and I think it's 5-6 people now, which is which is drastically bigger than it was before.
Great. So as a business, you started off with booking, you've grown the last 10 years enormously. So how many folks are you now?
Staff or customers?
Both-ish. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
Full-time, it's about 65 people.
Wow.
A couple more starting this week.
I think I met someone in the elevator.
Yeah, and we're on 2 floors now. Customers, 4,300, 4,400.
Wow.
So it's been good. It's been a nice steady pace, right? Mm-hmm. So we were maybe 40 people this time last year.
Yeah. I
guess but it's not crazy.
Yeah.
You just hit those different inflection points.
Yeah.
And things change.
And so, from growing this business from scratch, wearing the developer hat, the support hat, the marketing hat.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you've probably worn all the hats.
Yeah, finance. I was really good at finance.
You've obviously had to grow your CEO role and, what you do a lot. So, you're not, from a marketing perspective, you've got Angela and Mark and a whole team that are now responsible for that. But kind of looking back from your high position now, what would you have done differently if you could have, especially in terms of marketing? I mean, there's probably a lot of things that you would change, right? But particularly with regard to marketing.
Yeah, I could write a book. I mean, sales and marketing should have come online earlier. It's difficult when you're a bootstrap business, right? Because you have a finite amount of capital, usually none to little.
Yeah. It's all cash flow.
And we just continue to see growth without it, right? Which really should be an indicator that that's where you start to double down. I think that was probably, in hindsight, we could have gone a bit earlier. Mm-hmm. Sales didn't come online, till probably a bit later, and we've gone up market. So those SMBs are still a huge part of our business, but so are the kind of bigger, multi-location, high-volume businesses, and that's kind of where sales focuses for the most part. Marketing, I think we should have just scaled it earlier and invested, because in SaaS, it's really easy to measure. For the most part, right? Versus other traditional companies, and when it relates to marketing. So, when something's working, you can change it really quickly. And if we could have required a small amount of capital to start to just test out, and then just double down on the things that are kind of working.
And so, thinking of the various different marketing levers, content marketing, organic, paid, social, the whole range of different things. Would you have done anything differently? Would you have gone harder on something or softer?
I think paid acquisition, especially then, it was actually really cheap.
You're kicking yourself that you didn't do it when it was cheap.
It's costing us 6 times as much now for that. So. And again, it's very easily measured to put some capital into that. We always have on all those channels: social, paid social, PPC, content marketing. There's been best effort. But we did, when we were early on we were doing PPC, and we were seeing results. But we never
pushed it.
We never pushed it and put somebody in to kind of own it.
Yeah.
Like early on, right? So I think that was probably a misstep amongst many.
Well, it's been fantastic talking to you. I don't know how long we've spoken for, but I'm conscious of your time because you're a very busy man, and we're going to do another bit with Angela so she can bring us up to date with the other half of the story, I guess, dealing with running a marketing department in a SaaS business that's really growing now.
Well, and with Angela, it's building a marketing department, right? So she came in at an interesting time where there was traction, there was revenue. The team might have been 25 or something. So there was an emerging business there with a very minimal kind of footprint when it came to marketing, and it was her responsibility to learn a lot, I think. and moving from kind of doing the day-to-day to building a team, which is actually the hardest part. And it's hard to step away, at least in my experience, to going from doing those things day to day, because they are gratifying. You're accomplishing things.
Yeah, you feel like you've achieved something.
Yeah, and versus, you sometimes
managing.
Have a whole week where you think, what did I achieve? Because all you're doing is kind of working with your team. So I look forward to that segment.
Jason, thank you very much for your time. Really
Cheers.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Jason. For more info on Checkfront, please visit www.checkfront.com. For more info about this show, and to get our links to iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and YouTube, check out www.47insights.com. And if you have any SaaS marketing insights that you'd like to share on the show, please get in touch. Until next time.